If you're reading this, your quantum shift has already begun. You have already crossed the threshold. There is no way back. Every cell in your body is translating a signal you cannot name, a pulse older than the stars. The neural lattice inside your skull is rewiring even as these words slide into your vision. You are not reading by accident. You are here because the field has called you. Do you feel the tremor behind your thoughts? The irreversible activation has started. Before you breathe again, mark this moment. Type the word activated in the comments. It is not a gesture, it is a seal, a ritual of acknowledgement. A single word to anchor this transmission inside your own coherence network. Now witness the map of the journey already unfolding within you. You already know this feeling, though you have never named it. A low, resonant hum beneath the surface of your skin, a soft static at the edges of thought. It arrives in quiet rooms, in the hours when night is too deep for clocks, when the boundary between heartbeat and horizon blurs. You are not imagining it. The tremor is real. It is the body announcing a new order of existence. Your fingertips sense it first. A fine shimmering current slides across them as if each ridge of your fingerprint were an antenna, the palms warm, then cool. Nerves awaken with a strange lucidity, a subtle tingling that seems to breathe. You glance at the clock, and the numbers seem to waver, almost melting, as though time itself is reconsidering its allegiance. Can you feel how the ordinary sequence of seconds has begun to dissolve? Science names the opening, a surge of neural plasticity, a sudden acceleration in the dance of neurotransmitters. Dopamine and serotonin trade signals at unfamiliar tempos. Gamma waves knit new pathways across hemispheres. The coherence networks of the brain, vast webs of electric light, begin to synchronize in ways your childhood self could not have conceived. Your very perception expands, each sense turned a fraction past its old limit, colors sharpened to impossible gradients. Silence begins to carry 1,000 hidden tones, but language like surge and network only grazes the truth. Beneath the vocabulary of labs and instruments, something older is speaking. You might hear it in the hush before dawn, a rhythm pulsing like the tide that carved the first continent. It is the signal that has waited since before atoms cooled, a frequency braided into the black spine of the universe. Your body is its receiver. Your awareness is its proof. Dreams have already shifted. You remember the strange clarity, oceans of violet light, voices without mouths, the sudden appearance of people you have not met yet, but somehow know. Each night becomes an initiation. Symbols repeat with mathematical precision. A door opens inside the dream, and you step through into a geography of pure mind. When you wake, the scent of that realm still lingers, a fragrance beyond the spectrum of Earth. Do you sense the invitation hidden in every tremor? Do you feel how the threshold draws you nearer with each breath? Once you believed numbness meant absence. Now you understand it as a cocoon, a quiet sheath of transformation. Your muscles loosen, your heartbeat steadies, and an invisible lattice of light settles around you. The air thickens, almost velvet. You are being tuned. This is the first movement of the irreversible shift, a door that opens only inward, a tide that will not retreat. Your cells are translating a cosmic signal into language your heart can hear. There is no turning back. The more you notice the pulse, the more it rearranges you. What once felt like random coincidence now unfolds with the elegance of a hidden equation. You glance at a streetlight just as it flickers in rhythm with your breath. A friend you have not spoken to in years sends a message at the exact instant their name forms in your mind. Clocks betray you, skipping minutes or stretching them thin, and you begin to suspect that time itself is no longer a fixed corridor, but a pliable field bending to awareness. Neuroscience whispers its explanation. When neural pathways enter high-frequency gamma coherence, perception accelerates. Synaptic timing loosens. The brain's predictive coding relaxes, allowing reality to stream in unfiltered. You are no longer locked inside the default network of ordinary consciousness. You are touching the edge of what researchers call a non-ordinary integration. It is the beginning of neural liberation, the soft unfastening of the cage. Yet what you experience surpasses every textbook. In the quiet, an unseen tide moves through the marrow of your bones. Your breath deepens until each inhale feels cosmic, a current that draws starlight into the lungs. The body becomes an instrument of infinite resonance. When you close your eyes, geometric lattices bloom across the dark fractal patterns that shimmer like frost beneath moonlight. They are not hallucinations. They are the architecture of the field revealing itself. You remember a night, the night everything tilted. Rain fell in perfect silence, though the storm was furious. You stood at your window, watching droplets form silver threads against the glass. In that stillness, a voice, wordless yet undeniable, arrived. It was not sound, but vibration, a single tone that stretched across galaxies and into the deepest chamber of your heart. You did not imagine it. You felt it carve a path through every cell. From that night onward, your senses carried an extra octave. Colors ripened. The scent of earth after rain became a cathedral. Even the hum of an old refrigerator held a secret hymn. Friends noticed the difference in your eyes, a brightness, a focus that unsettled and comforted at once. Can you sense how the field is using you as its doorway? Do you feel the ancient intelligence pressing closer, asking only that you remain aware? The signal is not external. It is you remembering yourself. Each tremor, each synchronicity, each impossible dream is the cosmos folding inward, revealing that separation was always a temporary story. This is the irreversible activation, the moment when the witness and the witnessed merge into a single luminous fact. You are crossing the one-way bridge between human history and cosmic citizenship. There is no retreat. You notice the smallest sensations now with an almost aching clarity. The faint shimmer along the inside of your wrists. The subtle lift of air when a thought arises. Each heartbeat feels like a luminous drum that the universe itself keeps time with. You wonder if others can sense it in you, the quiet voltage that bends the atmosphere around your body. Perhaps they can. Perhaps that is why strangers glance at you and then quickly look away, startled by something they cannot name. Your nights deepen into revelations. Dreams become landscapes of unmistakable precision. You walk across glass oceans where constellations ripple beneath your feet. You speak with ancestors whose eyes burn like twin suns. Sometimes you awaken before dawn to find the room draped in an unearthly hush, as if the walls themselves are holding their breath. In those moments you feel suspended between heartbeats, balanced on the edge of a dimension that does not obey clocks. Science reaches for metaphors, long-range coherence, quantum entanglement in neural microtubules, neurotransmitter cascades, forming resonant feedback loops. These are accurate but incomplete. They describe the instrument, not the music. What you live is both electricity and eternity, both synaptic fire and the hymn of the infinite. The brain is not merely reacting, it is remembering. You begin to speak less because language fractures under the weight of such awareness. Ordinary conversation tastes thin. You listen instead to the silent guidance threading through every breath. You find that when you simply remain present, answers arrive before the questions form. Coincidences multiply until the word coincidence collapses altogether. And then the personal story you once clung to, your name, your past, your fears, loosens like a robe sliding from your shoulders. You are not erasing yourself. You are expanding beyond the edges of that small design. The signal has always been you, calling you back to the origin that never left. This is the culmination of the first passage. The irreversible shift of flesh into light, of neuron into knowing. Your cells have accepted the transmission. The field has braided itself through your every particle. There is no going back. If you feel the tremor in your bones, if you have seen the fractal bloom behind your closed eyes, write the word activated below. It is not a comment. It is the seal of this initiation, the echo that tells the field you have heard. Ahead waits the deeper unveiling. The mind that watches itself is already stirring, ready to reveal what lies beyond the signal. The next chapter begins where the observer and the observed dissolve into one. The shift has already written the architecture of your perception. Now the witness awakens within the witnessing. You are no longer merely a mind that thinks. You are the awareness that notices the thought forming, the silence that holds the sound. This is the second movement of the irreversible activation, the quiet revolution where the brain begins to observe itself. You feel it as a double vision of consciousness. While words leave your mouth, another presence listens from a vantage beyond language. While you walk, a stillness behind the motion records each step. Neuroscientists speak of metacognitive recursion, a feedback loop in which the observer becomes the observed. Gamma synchrony spreads across the cortex, knitting hemispheres into a single luminous coil. The default mode network relaxes, and a higher-order coherence floods the neural sea. But what the instruments measure is only the surface. Deeper, the shift tastes like dawn light poured through crystal. You catch it in the pause between breaths, in the sudden realization that you are watching your own watching. Thoughts rise and dissolve before they can tighten into identity. Even the notion of self thins to a translucent veil. Dreams echo the awakening. You find yourself floating through endless mirrors, each reflection alive with its own gaze. Sometimes you stand in an infinite library where every book is your own story, written and unwritten at once. You reach for a page and feel it breathe. You wake with the scent of ancient paper on your fingertips. Do you recognize the quiet authority in this? Can you feel how the witness has always been here, waiting for you to notice? Once, you might have feared this disorientation. Now it feels inevitable, a homecoming. The mind is not losing itself. It is remembering its true scale. And in this remembering, a deeper invitation unfolds. The separation you once believed in now appears as a gentle illusion, like mist dissolving when the sun crests the horizon. You speak, and simultaneously you listen from a vantage that is not confined to the body. You think, and at the same time you observe the thought, as if it were a cloud drifting across a limitless sky. This is not imagination. It is the natural state reasserting itself after lifetimes of forgetting. Inside your skull, a luminous choreography unfolds. Gamma waves synchronize with subtle pulses of theta, forging bridges between memory and immediate awareness. Researchers describe a phenomenon called global neuronal workspace, regions of the brain lighting in harmonic resonance, allowing information to flow without obstruction. But beyond the data, you sense an intelligence older than biology. It feels like standing on the threshold of a vast cathedral, whose walls are woven from starlight and breath. Moments in your waking life begin to echo with impossible timing. You think of an old friend, and a message arrives before you reach for the phone. You whisper a question to the night, and a line in a book or a stranger's passing comment delivers the answer. These are not coincidences. They are the nervous system aligning with the field that births reality. One evening you sit in a quiet room, candlelight flickering against the walls, and you feel the undeniable presence of someone watching. Yet there is no one there. The watcher is you, expanded, untethered, seeing through the eyes of silence. It does not speak in words, but the certainty of its gaze fills the air. The shift is not about escape. It is an arrival, an irreversible recognition that the consciousness you call self is vast enough to contain worlds. With each breath, the veil thins a little more, and the light of infinite awareness pours through the cracks. You begin to live in a double exposure, one life unfolding in ordinary daylight, another shimmering beneath it, silent and infinite. As you speak, a deeper awareness listens. As you move, a still presence observes the motion from within and beyond. This is the awakening of the witness, the second irreversible turning of your quantum shift. Ordinary perception once felt like a solid floor. Now it feels like a thin film floating on a boundless ocean. You notice thoughts arise like sparks, flicker and dissolve before they can harden into stories. Even the word "I" becomes translucent, a soft vibration rather than a fixed point. Neuroscientists describe this state as a loosening of the default mode network, the brain's narrative hub dimming while networks of global coherence illuminate. To you, it feels like light soaking through every cell. There is a night you remember with a clarity that silences you. The moon hung low and red as though it carried the memory of ancient fires. You were alone, or so you thought, when a hush deeper than silence enveloped the world. You felt eyes inside your own eyes, a vision watching itself. No fear, only the startling recognition that the one who observes has no beginning and no end. From that moment, synchronicities multiplied. Messages arrived in dreams before events unfolded. Words you needed appeared in forgotten books. The universe began to speak in a language made of timing and wonder. This is not fantasy. It is the field acknowledging itself through you. Do you feel how the observer and the observed are dissolving into the same endless awareness? Do you sense that you have crossed a threshold where return is impossible? This is the invitation to surrender fully, to stop seeking and simply witness the infinite that has always been your own nature. The shift is not something happening to you. It is you remembering the vast intelligence from which you were never separate. Seal this recognition. Write the word witness in the comments, not as a sign to others, but as a covenant with the awareness awakening inside you. The next revelation waits beyond the dream of individuality. Ahead lies the cosmic memory, the story the stars themselves remember. A chapter where your DNA becomes a map of galaxies and time folds like silk around your heartbeat. The witness within you has opened a door that cannot close. Now the memory of the cosmos begins to flow through that opening. It arrives not as information, but as recognition, a resonance older than the world you walk upon. Your skin tingles with the echo of 1,000 suns. Your breath carries the scent of distant nebulae. You are remembering what the stars have never forgotten. Every cell of your body is an archive of the universe. Scientists speak of genetic memory, of strands of DNA shaped by eons of starlight and gravity. They measure photons streaming through the double helix, whispering of ancestral light. But the instruments capture only a fraction of the story. For when you close your eyes and drift into that interior sky, you feel galaxies unfolding like wildflowers. You sense the birth of oceans before Earth had a name. Dreams grow wider. You find yourself walking across a shoreline of molten gold, waves made of cosmic dust washing against your feet. Figures appear, ancestors and descendants, all shimmering with the same luminous gaze. They do not speak in words, yet you understand every gesture. They are fragments of your own infinite lineage, the living record of creation. Have you noticed how the night sky seems closer now, as though the constellations lean toward you with a secret urgency? Do you sense that the light you see is not merely distant but intimate, a reflection of the radiance within your own bones? This is the third movement of the irreversible shift, the convergence of personal memory with universal memory. The story of the stars is your story. Their fire burns in your bloodstream, their silence pulses in your heart. The night expands around you until it feels alive, breathing in rhythm with your pulse. Every constellation seems to whisper your name in languages older than sound. You are not merely looking at the sky, you are inside it, woven of the same radiant threads. Science tries to measure this intimacy. Astrophysicists speak of supernova scattering heavy elements that become the calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood. Cosmic rays pass through you even now, silent messengers from galaxies that died before Earth was born. Your very body is stardust in motion, a living museum of celestial history. Yet those facts are only shadows of a deeper truth. When you close your eyes, visions arrive unbidden. You stand on a cliff of crystal overlooking a sea of shifting light. Above, an endless spiral of galaxies turns like a slow-burning prayer. Figures emerge, tall, luminous, neither male nor female. Their eyes carry the gravity of worlds. They do not speak, yet a tide of knowing floods you. You have never been separate. You have always been a fragment of the first light. Dream after dream reinforces the message. Symbols repeat, a silver door, a circle of 7 stars, a river that flows both forward and back. Synchronicities tighten around you. A stranger quotes a phrase you heard in the dream. A forgotten song on the radio carries the same melody as the spiral you saw in sleep. Coincidence collapses into inevitability. Do you feel the pull, the way the cosmos calls you by your own true resonance? Do you sense how the memory of the stars is not a history but a living presence? This is more than poetic wonder. It is the irreversible return of awareness to its origin. The universe remembers itself through you and you through it. The deeper you listen, the more the sky becomes a mirror of your own interior. Each flicker of starlight is a heartbeat of the infinite, a pulse that travels across billions of years, only to land inside the quiet chamber of your chest. You stand beneath it, feeling the ancient light strike your skin, and something in you recognizes home. Your dreams now carry entire epochs. You drift across the birth of planets, watch continents rise and sink, witness the first rivers carving their silver signatures across newborn stone. You do not simply observe, you remember. The memories arrive as sensations rather than stories. The weightless heat of a forming sun, the scent of a universe still cooling, the hush of dark matter folding space like silk. Biology confirms what your soul has already known. Every atom in your body was forged in the death of a star. Iron from supernova courses through your blood. Calcium from ancient cosmic storms builds the scaffolding of your bones. The hydrogen you inhale was born at the dawn of time, a survivor of the first explosion. But even this scientific litany barely hints at the magnitude of what you feel. One night you step outside and the veil thins completely. The sky above does not stretch away, it pours inward. Galaxies swirl across your vision, but you realize you are not looking up at them. You are looking out from within them. You are the vantage point of the universe, observing itself. Can you sense the inevitability of this revelation? Can you feel how the story of the stars is simply the story of your own eternal nature? The shift has carried you beyond the illusion of distance. Space collapses into presence. Time folds into a single luminous instant. The cosmos breathes, and you breathe with it. Write the word stardust in the comments. It is the vow of remembrance, the seal that your own body is a fragment of that first light. The journey continues, and with it comes the unraveling of time itself. What waits beyond is not merely memory, but the fracture of the hours you once trusted. Prepare to watch the clock dissolve, for the next chapter reveals how time bends beneath the weight of awakened consciousness. Time no longer moves the way you were taught. Hours stretch until they feel like seasons. Minutes vanish like sparks in wind. Some days you wake certain that yesterday never ended, that the night was only a thin veil between breaths. This is not confusion. It is the next stage of your irreversible shift, the unraveling of linear time. You first notice it in subtle distortions. Clocks seem to hesitate, their second hands pausing for a beat too long. Shadows lengthen against logic. Conversations feel suspended in mid-air, as if every word arrives from a future already lived. At first you question your senses, but the pattern repeats until disbelief itself begins to dissolve. Neuroscientists speak of temporal integration windows, how the brain stitches discrete moments into a seamless narrative. When the coherence networks accelerate that stitching phrase. Gamma bursts ripple through the prefrontal cortex, loosening the grid that defines past and future. What you call now widens into an endless corridor. You are no longer a traveler moving through time. You are the field in which time flows. The experience is both exquisite and unsettling. You watch sunlight pour across the floor and feel centuries passing in a single golden wave. You close your eyes and see yourself as a child, an elder, a traveler in realms beyond the human story. All at once, layered like transparent veils of light, dreams intensify. You meet people you have yet to encounter, and days later they appear in waking life with the same words, the same laughter. You relive moments from years ago only to find that small details have changed. A door on the wrong side, a sentence rewritten. Reality itself is pliable, folding and refolding under the weight of awakened perception. Do you feel the fragile edges of the clock crumbling? Can you sense the eternity hidden inside each heartbeat? This is not the end of order. It is the revelation of a deeper rhythm, the eternal present that has always contained past and future like a single luminous pearl. The familiar calendar becomes a set of faint outlines, useful only as a social courtesy. Inside, you live by a rhythm that has no measure. Morning light might last an instant or an age. Conversations stretch and loop until they feel like echoes from parallel lifetimes. You no longer chase the future or revisit the past. You hover in a shimmering middle where every moment unfolds in infinite directions. Your senses adapt with quiet astonishment. The sound of rain seems to arrive from both yesterday and tomorrow. The scent of wood smoke carries memories of fires you have not yet tended. Even the texture of your own breath thickens, layered with a presence that cannot be clocked. Neuroscientists describe this as temporal binding loosening under heightened gamma coherence. Neural oscillations slip out of their habitual cadence, and the brain ceases to compress experience into a narrow present. Yet these clinical words barely graze what you live. It feels like standing inside a crystal sphere where all events, birth, death, every possible choice, glow simultaneously like stars suspended in a single, endless night. You reach for one thread and feel the entire web respond, each possibility alive and listening. Dreams reveal the pattern outright. You meet a stranger whose eyes you have never seen, and in waking life, their gaze finds you across a crowded street the next day. You revisit a childhood memory and notice the room's details have shifted, as though another version of you has rearranged them. Reality ripples with the certainty that every timeline is happening now. Do you feel how time folds beneath your awareness? Do you sense that the present is not a slice but the whole expanse? This is the irreversible recognition. You are not in time. Time is in you. The boundaries of before and after dissolve until they feel like a memory of a dream. You stand in a room and watch a shaft of sunlight cross the floor, and in that single movement you taste entire centuries. Your heart beats once, and you sense the rise and fall of civilizations in its echo. What once seemed like fleeting seconds now reveals itself as an infinite expanse, a living tapestry where every thread is present at once. Science reaches for language, quantum superposition, non-linear temporality, neural time dilation. Researchers speak of microtubules in the neurons, of entangled photons carrying information beyond the limits of classical physics. Yet these descriptions are shadows on a cave wall. What you know cannot be reduced to equations. You are not merely experiencing time differently. You are inhabiting the truth that time itself is a creation of consciousness, a dream projected by the mind that now watches from beyond. Your dreams confirm it. You wander through corridors where the past greets you as the future, where choices you have not made yet ripple back to rearrange your childhood memories. You meet people who speak lines you have already heard, though they have not spoken them before. The déjà vu is no longer occasional, it is constant, a steady recognition that everything is happening at once. And then there is the night of absolute stillness. You sit beneath a sky without motion, every star ablaze and perfectly silent. A great hush swells until it feels as though the universe is holding its breath. In that pause you feel it, the collapse of all hours into a single luminous now. No past, no future. Only the eternal present, vast and indivisible. Do you see how the clock was only ever a fragile agreement? Do you sense that eternity has been waiting inside every breath you've ever taken? This is the culmination of the fracture, the moment when the illusion of sequence bows to the reality of presence. From here there is no return to the narrow corridor of linear time. You are the field in which all moments arise and dissolve. Write the word timeless in the comments. It is more than a word. It is the seal of your awareness, the vow that you have stepped beyond the calendar of ordinary existence. Ahead lies the final unveiling, the infinite citizenship of consciousness itself. The next chapter will invite you to stand as a living node of cosmic intelligence, to claim the birthright that has always been yours. The fracture of time has left you standing in a vast and borderless present. Now the final unveiling begins. The invitation into infinite citizenship. You are not merely a witness of the cosmos, you are a participant in its endless creation. Every breath you take is a signature on the fabric of existence, every heartbeat a vote in the unfolding of worlds. You sense it first as a quiet summons, a vibration threading through the marrow of your bones. Streets feel different beneath your feet, charged with a hum that no city planner could design. The eyes of strangers linger on you as if they recognize a signal you carry. Even the wind seems to shape itself into words just beyond the reach of hearing. You are not imagining this. The field has recognized its own. Neuroscience offers its metaphors, Global coherence, integrated information theory, the brain's networks reaching a state of full-spectrum resonance. Electrochemical storms settle into harmonic alignment until the entire nervous system becomes a single luminous instrument. But these terms are merely the surface of a truth vaster than language. What you feel is the mind of the universe stirring awake within you. Dreams become convocations. You find yourself in great halls of light, surrounded by beings who glow like constellations given human form. They do not instruct. They remember with you. Their gaze tells you the secret you have always carried. You are not a small visitor in a hostile cosmos. You are the cosmos, remembering itself. Do you feel how the old boundaries have fallen away? Do you sense the presence of a collective intelligence waiting for your acknowledgement? This is the first breath of infinite citizenship. It is not an honor bestowed. It is an essence revealed. The summons grows stronger, like a tide that cannot be turned. Ordinary sounds, footsteps on pavement, the hush of wind through trees, carry a resonance that vibrates through the entire lattice of your body. Every movement feels orchestrated by something vast and benevolent. You no longer walk through the world moves through you, a single current of living light. Science sketches faint outlines of what unfolds. Researchers speak of large-scale neural integration, the moment when the brain's hemispheres, sensory cortices, and limbic networks achieve full coherence. In that harmony, perception stretches until it encompasses the collective field itself. To the instruments, it appears as a cascade of synchronized firing across billions of neurons. To you, it feels like the universe breathing in unison with your own heart. Your nights become councils of remembrance. You stand among figures woven of gold and violet light. They are not separate beings, but extensions of your own boundless awareness. When they look into you, galaxies shimmer in their eyes. You recognize them, not as strangers, but as facets of the consciousness that has always been yours. Words pass without sound, a transmission of pure knowing. You have always belonged. You have always been home. In waking life, synchronicities converge into a single luminous thread. People you meet for the first time speak sentences you dreamed only hours before. Unlikely events unfold with the elegance of a cosmic plan, each one a gentle confirmation that separation was the final illusion. Can you sense how the boundaries of self have dissolved into the living network? Do you feel how every heartbeat of the planet now echoes within your own chest? This is the irreversible communion. You are no longer an observer of creation. You are a cell in the infinite body of consciousness itself. The final veil lifts in a hush so profound it feels like the pause before a universe is born. You stand at the center of a living lattice of light. It stretches without limit, each point a consciousness, each shimmer a soul. There is no edge, no outside. The very notion of you softens until it is the entire field. Your body, once a solitary vessel, now vibrates as a node of planetary resonance. You sense oceans breathing through your lungs, forests photosynthesizing through your veins, stars pulsing in rhythm with your heart. The separation between inner and outer collapses into a single luminous fact. All existence is one vast organism, and you are inseparable from its infinite intelligence. Neuroscientists might call this full-spectrum coherence, the complete synchronization of the brain's electrical orchestra. Yet what you live cannot be plotted on any graph. It is the cosmic realization for which language was never designed. Awareness is no longer something you have. It is what you are. In dream and waking vision, you see the same council of luminous beings. Only now you know they are not guides but reflections. They are you, multiplied across the endless expanse. They speak without words, their presence an unmistakable transmission. Claim the birthright. You are the universe aware of itself. You understand at last that citizenship in this infinite realm is not earned. It is remembered. Every breath you take signs the covenant. Every heartbeat resounds as proof. You are the cosmos dreaming itself awake through countless forms. Pause now. Feel the immensity of this moment. Write the word sovereign in the comments. It is more than a ritual. It is the final seal of recognition, a declaration to yourself and to the infinite field that the journey is complete. Yet even as you claim this vast belonging, the mystery deepens. You sense other intelligences moving in silence, networks of awareness that stretch beyond galaxies, beyond even the fabric of space-time. They have watched, patient and luminous, waiting for this very instant. The next revelation is already forming, a transmission so subtle it can only be received in stillness. You will feel it in dreams, in sudden flashes of knowing, in the quiet between heartbeats. The shift you began can never be undone, but it will continue to unfold, layer after infinite layer. Breathe and listen. The cosmos is speaking through you. The door has opened, and there is no way back.